Okay, so now we in the last module, which I name Estimates and Feasibility. So let's start. We go right into that, and we start a new estimate or a feasibility. The difference we is the one has got the income, and we work out the return on its investment, and the estimate is just the estimate. So if you want to do an estimate of, or just work out the costing of a building or a portion of a building or whatever, and that will be the estimate. So for this video, I'm just going to choose the feasibility, and again, we will have the name of the person that that it will be signing this, and you will see we've got the professional fees, and these are it's basically for our notes that we want, and we will say we will have the architect that we've used is Pencil Architects, and they've got drawing number XXXDS342, and it was issued on that date, and so on. And we have got a structural engineer, and he was calculator engineers, and he didn't give us a drawing number. He just gave us, he told us we must allow for slabs that is 200 millimeter thick, and you can use 150 kilogram per square meter for your reinforcing and so on. And so we've got information from him, but it's not for a drawing. But he gave us some details, and the rest we say it is. There was nothing we didn't have. We just used the similar projects, the allowances I will show to you just now. Then we've got VAT. Is the land value subject to VAT? Sometimes it is, sometimes it is not. In this case, we will say no. Is VAT on improvement cost seen as expense? Sometimes you will not be able to get your VAT back, and then we will say yes, it is seen as an expense or not. It is up to you and the area where you live in, and the laws of that specific area or country that you've got. Um, is VAT on general costs seen as an expense? And we can say yes or no. Yes. Okay. Then the date of this feasibility, and let's say we put on today's date, and the base date is what we use for our escalation. So let's say it's the 1st of April, and the date that the contractor should start on site, and let's make that 3 months later. So we've got this, and let's say the contractor is going to start on the Saturday, Sunday, Monday the 3rd. And the construction period, let's say that is 15 months, and the annual escalation is 5%. The detailed design contingency is it's a contingency we've got from the drawings we're doing from the date of this estimate, and there might be a little bit of changes and things that carrying on until we get the final design. So we just allow for a small contingency there. What is your P's and G's? Um, say for this sake it is 10%, and a contingency is 5%, and a cash flow factor it is for escalations during construction, because some of the expenses becoming is happening in the beginning of the period, and a lot of it during the construction and so on. So we just use a cash flow factor of zero point 0.6 that will allow for your S-curve expenditure. Exclusions that you want to have, you can add as many. We've just allow a few here. You can delete them as you want, and you can keep them wherever and add is new exclusions. And do you want to add direct costs? Let's say yes. I want to show you. Then the different types. If you got a hotel and leisure, they will have these type of all kinds of expenditures as different key card systems. I see there panic alarms, dishwashers, coffee machines in your food and beverage area. In hospitals, you will have different beds, the ward furniture, nurses stations, medical gases, and what you've got in hospitals, shopping centers will have more furniture, these type of things. And you can do one, let's say, industrial, and we've got warehouse management systems, compressed air, gas installations, cooling systems, fire expression, office furniture. I just allow one so that for the sake of this, and the direct cost contingency, it will have a different contingency because it's normally based on an actual quote that we have, or we've got more accurate or not, or we do not have accurate or any allowances. So we want to have its own contingency. Let's say in this state it is 2%. We create our estimate. So when we start to create it, it will always go onto the page for your executive summary, and it shows there the logos that we've had, the name of the project, and so on. And this is what your executive summary would look like when we finish to it, and we'll come back to it right at the end. Um, your notes is based on the information we've given it to them at the front. So it is the architectural information, the structural engineer, and the civil, and all these guys were assumptions made on similar projects. The building cost as competitive tender ruling as at the first, that was our base cost that we said. We're going to use it in USD, and we said the project is going to be 15 months. The effective date for the land purchase, we'll get there when we choose get to the land. Um, Pre-construction period is 4 months, and your construction period is 15 months, or 14 working months. There's normally a December holiday in it. And it commenced with construction, completion, construction. We've got our allowances for cost escalations. Is prior construction, it will be 0.41%, and during construction it is a little bit less because we've got the cash flow factor of 0.6, and the exclusions what that we have chosen there at the start. Um, the income, I'll come back. Let's do the income at the end. The reason for that, we would like to see your costings first, so that we can compare your income with the cost of your development to work out what is your cash flow. But it is there. You can work on it. We just need to come back then just to see the return. So if we got the land area, include the land value in this feasibility. Sometimes people do not want to include the land value. In this size, we have. And do you have a purchase amount? Is there a value that we have? Let's say yes. If there is yes, we can just put in, let's say it was 100,000, and we've got a land value there. If not, then we could have just add the land area. We link it to our DMTs, which is our the measurements areas in our from the drawings. The DMTs is always the drawing measurement items, drawing measurement totals for that sake, and so you can link your land area, and then you put a rate per square meter to allow for a land value. Or agent fees included in the land value? We say yes, because normally it is the seller or the purchaser will, or the seller will pay the agent's fees. Is the transfer cost included in the price? No, it's not included, and it is, let's say, 3%, and the effective date of the land transfer, and that is where we've got. So we say it is at, let's say, the start of the project. Oh, let's say we can put it there, and we can say the land will be purchased at the start of the project, or at the end, or during the project in certain installments, starting in how many months. So you can add these things, and this is just for your cash flow forecast. So we've got the land cost, and then the 3% transfer cost, and there's our land value. So, and you can always just print and preview. You will have this, and this is the page that will form part of our the whole estimate or the feasibility that we're going to send later on. If we open the improvement cost, this is actually the major, where all the major estimates is coming from. We will start off with a construction area. You can do an area calculation, where you can either link to a total. Let's say we've got a construction area there's a construction area measured. We link it there, and it is included there. So if not, you could have just added into just manually, and then you say done, and there is our area. If you have, and so this is our construction area. You can add more and more and more areas if you want. If you got, maybe you want to include balconies, that's normally not included in the construction area because it's not under roof, or whatever. You can add these things, or report a cashier or something like that, and that will go under those areas if there's some special areas that you want to include in your construction area. But for the sake of this estimate, we will leave it at that. Now the builder's work, if you've got your area, and then you can either put in a rate there. Let's say it was 1,200, and you can add it there, and this will be the cost. Or we can edit the rate, and we say it is not 1,200, and you have measured the bill of quantities. You can just pick a total from the bill of quantities, and we use the total. So this will open the bill of quantities total. It was, the earthworks was measured there, the concrete, I didn't price it, it's just for this purpose of this. But if you've already measured your bill of quantities, or you measured your estimate through your items in your bill of quantities, you can use this value. And when you use that value, then it will give you also the rate. But for this sake, we will say it is 1,200, and and this is what our cost is, and so our builders work is there. The design contingency is in the front. We have chosen that it is 2.5%. It goes there. Site clearance, you can either put in, let's say the site was 3,000 square meters, and it was $3 a square meter. Bulk earthworks is then, let's say, half of that, and let's say it's 1,500. And at 15 you can carry on like that. Or you can, if there's roads and areas, and you've got an area that is measured, you can add it again. So you link it to a DNT, and you can say there, let's say that was it's not 2 square meters, but anyway, so you can use you can measure your roads and pavings, or any areas, or your yard walls, a length, or landscaping. You've got an area that you want. There's retaining structures, work to municipal roads, and so forth. And you can just edit the quantities and add it to there. You can also, here's some items already in that you can put allowances for stormwater, for external plumbing, septic tanks, water tanks, and the same for electrical, external, or general items such as gatehouses, entrance boom. Is just your allowances there, or you add your own items, and which you can add in there. And if you got it measured somewhere, that will give you the opportunity to link whatever you've done. So your external works is there. It's the 31,500. It's what it says here. And you will have your subtotal, including your builder's work. Your P's and G's is then, we've in the beginning we have said 10%, and that would give 21,000. So, and that will be then the total of our builder's work, including the P's and G's. Then, on top of that, we will have our escalation like we have chosen. It was 4.6 months at um, that our monthly excavation times the value of the builder's work, and the post contract escalation, which is subject to the cash flow factor that we have chosen before, and it will be inclusive of the builder's work plus the pre-contract escalation, because when we start, that is the value going to be of our cost, building cost at the start. So our contingency is, then we said it is 5% is what we've had, and that's 260. Direct cost is, let's say we've got office furniture, we said there, and we've allowed for 15,000. I don't know, and so, and you can add more items if you want. And your contingency, we said we had a direct cost contingency is there, so that is the direct cost total, and this is the total improvement cost. In professional fees, you can either give for your core consultants, your project manager, architect, quantity surveyor, your engineers. Let's say you can have either a 13% that will include all of them, or you can put make it zero there, and you can put each one of them, and you can say 2%, and you select the basis, and you say which ones. Is it going to be on builder's work? Is it going to be including the design contingency? Is it including escalation? Including the builder's work? And will the project manager be involved with the direct contracts? Let's say yes and yes, and it's done. So it will be the total of all of that and so on. And then you will do exactly the same with the architect, structural engineer, the engineers, and these guys will have the all the bill totals inclusive. So if you have, let's say, the structural engineer was included in the earthworks, and he did the concrete, and he was working with that, and he was doing roads and pavings, and and he did the water tanks, including of all of that, and he will have 10%, and then that will be then your structural engineers um, calculation, and then we just say done, and that will be there. So it's based on these, on that items, and for your so if you got your professional fees just a little bit more accurately worked out, or as you said, if you chosen, um, it could be just a percentage of your fee. Okay, so then we've got our sub-consultants, and they work exactly the same. You can choose your land surveyor or the basis, and you can choose whatever areas you wanted to use, or you can just have a percentage of your landscaping value, or the signage consultants, and I'm just looking at a few, or you can add as many as you want. We also have our plan approval fees allowances. You can put in percentages here to your liking, and the same for disbursements. That will bring us then to our total improvement cost. So we've got a construction area, and then it will work out your rate per square meter. And that is just to give us a good indication if we are in ballpark. And as you guys know, with your experience, you will know exactly if there was a mistake somewhere. You go back and you know that the type of building would cost more or less this value, and then we are okay. And that is your total improvement cost. So then we will get to our general costs, and our general costs are the cost that's normally not included in your land and your improvement costs. Let's say for instance we've got insurances, and it is separately paid by the client, and it's not included in the P's and G's of the contractor. So you will have sometimes it happens like that. I'm not a person that likes it personally, but the client wants to, for some reason, have his own insurances. The development manager fee is a 2%, and a project initiation is 1%. And a finance structuring fee or bond raising fee, you will have your bond value. You put a value of the portion of the development that you want to cost. And let's say for one, so we've had that's 200,000, and let's say 400,000, we've had a bond value, a 1%, and you get all kinds of other items that you normally would not include into your building works or your improvement costs, and you can add as many if you want here, or you've got additional ones. And all the time you can always remember, you can just print preview, and you will check and see what it looks like, and you can go back and you can change it as much as you want. You can print it. When you print this, you can print it to a printer, or what you want to do. You close it, or you can just save it as a PDF. That will then bring us to our finance cost. The finance cost you can work on two ways. If we use our development cash flow, and we say our interest rate was 5% in this case, you must put in the percentage in the like that, and you will use, no, why is it not working? Just say, all right, so it's because you can use for cash flow factors, and you will have your land value is at straightforward at 5% for 12 months, and it is your 5% divided by 12 times 19 months until you bought it, because we said in the beginning of the thing, we said we're buying the land at the start of the project. Your improvement cost is, we've had our cash flow factor, and the general costs also its own cash flow factor, and there it goes. So when we use again our development cash flow, that will be based in the 5% annual on the development cash flow. So that's a little bit more accurate, which I will show you just now. So if you go to your construction cash flow, this is the construction value that we've had. The percentages, the months are to the final count after completion. Sometimes you take it like, let's say 2% after construction, then you will only pay your last the bits of the money. Your deflex liability is 12%. We say we had the advance payment of 20%, and we've had a retention of 5%. And this will then work out your construction cash flow for the first month, and as it go on to the project completion, and that's for the builders work only. And you can again print and save to as PDF or export it to Excel. Or now we've got our development cash flow, and this is where it is all go to. So the construction cash flow was now worked out there according to the S-curve formulas, and your insurance cost that we've had there, and let's say it is payable at the start, then it will go to the start. You can say it's every second month, or is it payable on the second month, or during construction, every second month during construction, then it will go to every second month. Is it evenly during construction, then it goes like that. The professional fees, we will use our percentages there, and it is then, well, whatever our professional fees were, and it will do the costings right through. Um, and for all our work, and it will show our income at the bottom, and then there, that is what I'm saying, that's a little bit more accurate, because it is working now the interest out per month for the period until the end of the construction period until there. So you will have your interest calculation. It is not just a factor of 0.6. It is actually worked out as per the cash flow that we've worked out here. Then just quickly, we've got the graph. It will just show us a graph of and how the construction cash flow will work, and that is normally our pre-construction pre-value, and there was now an advance payment, and it carries on like that during our construction. It's just a handy tool for later on when to compare with your real costs. And if it goes up, then you know that your real costs go higher than this, then you know you are fine, you're above program. Or if it goes below that, and then we know we have to do something about the program, and we must try and get as close as possible to our forecasted cash flow. So that will bring us then to our income, and the income is then we can add either selling, and if you're selling, if you've got the same selling price for all units or no, then we say, listen, how many different types have we got? Let's say we had two different types, and we've got of this one, there's of type A, there are 3 units, and their selling price is 50,000, and they start selling so many. When they start selling of them, it is 5 months after construction, let's say one per month, and the frequency. Excuse me. This is just to show you in the development cash flow. It helps there, and these things will carry it forward to there, and then our unit B, let's say it had 2. I just want to make it 30, just to want to show you what it will look like, and then it will just give you a summary of this is the totals. Okay, we should have had just a little bit more, and to make it a profit, and it will show you what your profit is on your investment. Okay, or if we say we had our rental income, we can, is it today's date rates, or are we using the rates at the start of the project? Let's say we use the escalated rates at the start date when everything is finished, and our rental increase per year is, let's say, 5%. And how many different types of units have we got, or areas? And let's say for this sake 3, and the types, I mean, with you will have line shops or anchor shops, or you will have magnets and so forth, or you will have this type of office, and it's ground floor offices, and it's penthouses and whatever. So you can choose there how many different rental types is, and the first one you can the rentable area. Again, you can link your areas to that drawing measurement totals, and at a rate of 55, that is now so small, but that area, or the unit B has got 1,000 square meters, I don't know, 30, and or you can link it again. And when will rental come? And let's say after the construction start. Okay, always say upon completion, and type C is 20 square meters, 50, whatever is here. That will be, can never be that much, so it is with 50 square meters. And if there's parking included in the rent, let's say if it's included, then it's yes, we've got no problem. If it is not, then we say there were 3 open parking bays at 50. We've got 2 covered at 100, and basement there were 4 at 150, whatever, and we've got a vacancy factor of 15%, and we will allow percentages covering all operating costs. If you say yes, and then you just put the percentage there, or if we say no, we can have we break it down and we say property and admin, cleaning, but repairs, and whatever you want, and you can add a few more that you want, and you can put the percentages there, and we say we continue, and it will work out the rental income per unit, the rentable area, the right as it is currently, then the escalation until the completion date, so that when they start, that will be the rental, and it will give you your gross monthly income. With same with the parking, and which will give us a subtotal there, less the vacancy factor that we have chosen, and will give us that, less the operating costs of these figures, and that's our net monthly income. That will be our net annual income, and on our cost, our development cost is including the your interest, land, general costs, and that will be then your net return on investment. So that if we then go back to our executive summary, that will be then summarized there: your land value, your improvement cost, general cost, finance cost, subtotal, VAT, and your development cost, the construction area, the rate of square meter of your construction area, and the first year's income, and that is your return on investment. And Pompies can sign it on that date, and you can send it through to your client, or we can print all selected pages, and you say, listen, this is our executive, and we want to include each one of these. They will all save as a combined PDF, and it is all together, and you can send it off. And that is it. If there's any questions, feel free to send me an email. Will gladly help you and support you. And hopefully, I'm helping somebody's life, making it easier somewhere in the world. See you again. Thank you. Bye bye.